right, ads should be done. Let's get cooking. Hello. Welcome to another Keeb stream. Hello, Ty. Welcome, welcome. I think you'll probably recognize some other tunes coming up as well. I just saw on Evan's Instagram that you did one of the best jobs packing up stuff to send to him, which was cool to see. Hello, Frederick. Happy Tuesday indeed. Yeah, like that story. Like, everybody else take note. This is how you do it. This is how you pack shit up to get sent into for a build. Well, hello, the two of you, my usuals. Great to see you. Our main thing today is that I got new keycaps in, and so I want to redo a build to kind of go along with it. We've got new DCS on deck. Some DCS Baja Nights. Themed after, maybe taking some inspiration from a little Mexican food joint. So I have an idea that I want to do with this on the Cycle7, since I don't have the DNWorks 7 actually in the color that would go really well with these alphas. But the Cycle7 is not too far off. I think this teal has a little bit more green in it than the Cycle7 does, but I think that won't be noticeable at all, especially with the purple mods kind of being a little bit of a color break in there. So that is the plan for today. I was trying to think if there was any. I meant to compile a little list if there was any interesting keyword stuff going on. I was out of the loop for a few days because I was in Chicago with my family visiting, so wasn't paying super close attention to Discord or anything else. But I think, well, there was a new GMK set. Let me switch back to this. That was, oh yeah, Sterling's new keycap set. Just went into group buy. Is this it? Yeah. Orangey. I thought about it because they have it in some of these renders, or maybe that's not a render. No, it'd have to be a render. The keycaps are made. But they're showing it on the Enzo, and I thought about that because Apiary is building an Enzo on her channel right now. The Enzo. Yeah, it was actually a very sweet stream over there. I hated having to leave to go eat dinner, but a bunch of folks pulled together and got her SA Grand Budapest, which was very sweet. Very sweet to see. But anyway, Orangey is an interesting new set that I know that Tristan, Captain Sterling, had been teasing for a little bit. And it also uses the Noi Legends, the new GMK Legends. And it seems like a very pleasant kind of, I don't know if this is white or if it's more of an off-white kind of, with an orange. And then it has some fun novelties that feel a lot like, and I haven't read like all of the interest check or anything like that, but these feel to me inspired by like a lot of Sony electronics, like some of the Walkman and Discman type of products with a lot of this stuff. I like this one, looks like a face. But yeah, it's just very clean. I like the look of it a lot. I guess I have Kaiju is the only kind of orangish thing I have, but it might be kind of fun to get just for some of the novelties. But that's a new interesting set that just came out. And then I think the other thing that I caught that was interesting was that Dynacap finally has a release date, at least for the individual parts, which will be next week, Thanksgiving week, right? Is that Thanksgiving week? Yeah. My time is like completely scrambled. Don't remind me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not traveling for Thanksgiving, so it's actually kind of chill and awesome. I'm not going anywhere, which I'm excited about. Like, our travel was this past weekend. But anyway, we've got like the domes, sliders, all the springs, all that good stuff, I think is going to be available finally. So this is like, I think all the individual parts. Oh man, they come in yellow or orangey yellow. Okay. Anyway, I know the Dynapacks are kind of a separate bag because they're, you know, tailored specifically for a particular board. But yeah. Out 200. Is that related to Thanksgiving or is that related to Dynacap stuff? 7 streams! Thank you, Frederick. We really appreciate you being here. So yeah, interesting stuff. I want to try to get into something about these. Dynacap for Bowers, 100. Oh, that's right, the Dynapack for the Bower Light. Or just for the Bower. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see what the Dynapack for like the Cloud9 ends up looking like. But anyway, I want to get into this stuff at some point. I know I've mentioned that in the past, but Dynacap is a electrocapacitive, as opposed to MX style switches that we all know and love. You know, these little buddies. So it's similar to like Real Force, Topra boards, that sort of thing. As far as how the mechanism works, but this is essentially parts that you can use to potentially convert a traditionally built MX board into electrocapacitive if you want to, if you can get the plate and the PCB for it. They're doing like kind of packs with board manufacturers so that you can have electrocapacitive options for different boards that are coming out right now. Apologies in advance for the 4-minute noise track after this one. Yeah, I hadn't listened to this mix yet, so it's all new to me. Or this airing of the show from the 7th. Here you can see, Frederick, how electrocapacitive works, where there are housings that kind of go into the plate. There are sliders that have domes underneath them that have springs inside, as opposed to an MX style mechanical switch. So this is like what Topra boards use. And so this is giving people a way to have a nice non-interference aftermarket solution to customize stuff, turn stuff into boards, into EC boards that might not normally be EC, and with the MX style stem, be able to use MX style keycaps, as opposed to, you know, your typical sort of Topra thing. Oh yeah, I hear that noise. We'll jump ahead slightly. Just not as conducive for concentrating on what I'm saying while I'm streaming. Anyway, I'd recommend. Oh, here, I'll just throw the link into chat here, and you can read up on it more yourself. But it's very interesting stuff. I got to type on some boards that were using Dynacap parts at the NK meetup. I've used Topra a little bit before and have enjoyed it. I just have never gotten one for myself. But I think it'd be really fun to get a Topra and then maybe start modding it with some of these aftermarket parts, being able to use all of my keycaps that I already own on a board, etc. Not a great stream song? Yeah, I mean, I'll appreciate it on my own time. How about that? But anyway, interesting stuff with Dynacap. I'll be looking. I've been watching a lot of streams of people building with Dynacap, trying to wrap my head around the process, how lubing and tuning works on Dynacap parts, which is different than anything I'm used to. So, anyway, we'll learn more about it. Excited to try it? Yeah. Same. And I've also watched a little bit of some of the Omnitype streamings that's happened recently with Garrett actually designing like the build instruction manual for Dynacap parts, which has been fun to see as well. Getting a little bit of inside baseball on that stuff. So, let's dive into what we are doing today. So we're going to rebuild. Move this up here. I can fish it out here. The old Cycle7, which I do really enjoy. One of my favorite FRL TKLs that I've gotten to try. But I'm thinking that the little teal on the alphas here will go. Right, stop wiggling, camera. Will go nicely here with the fridge blue Cycle7. And at the end, if I remember to, which we didn't do last time we rebuilt this, I still have not taken the protective film off of the weight. So we can do that too. Where am I? Hello. And I think we'll also do a little switch swap here, something a little bit more on theme. Although I'm trying to remember what's in here currently. I think it might be like HMX Poro right now. Get the... Whoop, come on. Come on, lens. Obey me. There we go. So, first off, get in here. Super easy catch ball system. I'd actually also looked and wondered if I wanted to try using any of the Row 4 DCS mods that I have in some of these colors. But it's just slightly off, like this kind of aqua color has less green in it than the alphas, and the purple is not the same either. So it wasn't going to be close enough of a match, I think, if I wanted to add any extra spice to it. Because these also feel like 90s Taco Bell to me a little bit, but I think I'll just leave it as is, and we'll see how the set looks. So let's see, I think I also need to do some spacebar touch-up, in addition to needing to change the wire, because, if I'm not mistaken, this set only comes with 6 and 7U spacebars, since it's made for like HHKB and 60% and like TKLs, and that's it. So it's a very limited layout options. Yeah. One of the advantages of having one of these like very small run DCS sets is like somebody's like, I want a keycap set for these layouts and that's it. And so we're just going to run it. And we're not trying to appeal to as many people as possible to hit that 250 MOQ or whatever it is that GMK needs. So it's an interesting kind of scene, I feel like, with the little private DCS runs that happen a lot. Different needs and requirements. Let's set this over there. And we'll also take off GMK Awaken. It's an interesting idea. I feel like it's become more common lately. Yeah. Well, see, that's part of my issue is like, I don't know if it's becoming more common lately or if I've just been becoming more aware of it, because I've definitely been like peeking into a lot more small discords and like keeping up with some of this stuff. It's also helped that the Signature Plastics Discord has added some extra channels. Like, they've been getting a lot of help from the community recently over the last couple months of like help with kitting and renders and feedback, like on all their flex kit stuff, and like helping the owners out a lot with different stuff. And part of that has been like extra channels that have been like surfacing a lot of these smaller runs and group buys and stuff, and like bringing them more to the forefront in a much more visible place, which I think has also been super helpful. Let's see. Let's use this puller today. Ooh. Get that nice spalting in there. Oh yeah, it is poros in here. I thought so. So what I'm thinking is to kind of go with the theme of like Baja Nights, and also to kind of tie in with some of the purple. We're going to pull out a blast from the past. Not that much of a past, but we're going to use some Prevail Nebula V1s. Rest in peace, Prevail. Really nice switches. I've never tried the V2s. I know that they do exist, but I've got a bunch of V1s from back in the day when Prevail was still a thing. Never heard of that? Oh, the Prevail Nebulas? When did I get those? And Prevail was kind of a, I guess in the grand scheme of things, kind of a solar flare of a vendor that also made some of their own stuff. I don't feel like they were around super long. Let's see. Go down to my switches here. I probably don't have the date on these anymore, do I? This was like, these were the 7th switches I ever bought. Yeah, I don't have the date on here. But I might have an email archived. I think this was might have been before I started deleting all my emails. Nope. Okay, I don't actually know. Oh, wait. Maybe it would help if I spelled it correctly. Ooh, here we go. So this was September of 2022. About, yeah, 3 years ago. Got the Epsilon switches and the Nebula switches, the V1s back in the day. So I guess 3 years ago is not that much of a back in the day, but you know what I mean. I feel like you might have a sticker from them. Yeah, it was kind of like a P and a shield. Yeah, they made the Epsilons and sold them. I have those too. Yeah, they designed them. Yep. So the Nebulas have like a sparkly purple housing instead of the orange that the Epsilons have. I don't think their website exists anymore, so I don't know all of the materials and all of the specs right offhand. Whoops. Got too many stupid productivity apps all together down here that I click on the wrong one. It's after 5 p.m. I am not opening Slack. The Nebulas, I believe they are 62 gram spring. They're also linears. But as far as the other material makeup, I don't have that information available right here. They did have a factory lube that for 3 years ago was pretty good. I don't know what it... yeah, I can't remember what all they vendored besides this, because I know they also made the switches and sold them, and I know they vendored some other stuff, but for the life of me, I don't remember what. Do not recall. Let's see, I can probably get in here now. HMX never holds onto the keycap super tight, so. Second time to Vinicky restock my Geon Springs right after, but I'm sorry, dude. I saw that actually, the restock announcement. That sucks. It's always good to have more springs, though, right? Oh, that's the full size. I was like, what is this doing here? The full caps lock. I might have to do a little wire cannibalization here, though, for this, because I was looking through the leftover mode stab stuff that I have, and I didn't see any 7U wires. So I'm going to take a 7U wire from a different pile and hope that it doesn't have any interference. Let's see, these are all little extra buddies. I guess they can live down here, though. Give me a chance to clean off this plate, too. Ugh. Goobers. Search the email pair. The only thing I got then was plate-mounted Duroc stabs in 2021. Blast from the past. Let's see. Some of these bits and bobs back in. Scroll past the newsletter for the switches too. All right. Remember, really wanted the Epsilons, but I never got them. I've got some if you want to try them. They are not currently in any boards. But they may have also remade the Epsilons, just like they remade the Nebulas. Prevail, Jimmy. Yeah, they're still... The V2 version is still for sale. I don't know how they compare. Manufactured by JWK. So, there is that. Though I feel like... I mean, they're about 65... 65, really? 65 cents a switch. Never got them because I had tangerines and thought they looked too similar. Fair. Alright. I don't think I actually have where the rest of the poros are. Let's take a look. Go back to this just to cut down on camera wobble. Let's see if I can find the leftovers in our big big box of stuff. Same chair, Herman Miller sale. I feel like, I moved to West Michigan and I was contractually obligated to buy a Herman Miller chair. Right? They don't let you live here unless you... Coca Blacks. Maybe I don't have any Poros in here. I don't know where the rest of them would have gone. Unless they're in their own little container still. Let's see. Keycaps. Oh wait, maybe they're in here. This is... Nope, that's macchiatos. Well, we can put the rest of them, and they can all live together for now. Let's turn off. Oh, maybe this ran out of battery. Oh no. It just had a... Oh, I see. I wanted this to stay on purple. No, too far. There we go. Did you have just enough for the Cycle7? I don't think so. Oh, geez. But I don't know where the rest of them went. So I think we'll just, even though they're very similar in color here, we're just gonna see if we can pack them in with these macchiatos. I know, I mean, I never buy fewer than 90 when I get a Switch. So anyway. I don't know. I'll track them down. They may have gotten, I did a bunch of reorganization, so a few things may have gotten put in the wrong place temporarily. I have so many 70s and 72s. Yeah, I never go lower than 90. Just because I know I want spares, and I also want to have the option to put them on bigger boards. Makes sense. I didn't have a TKL for a long time. Yeah. So I mean, so that would make sense why you wouldn't go that route. Does changing the spring in the Switch change its gram force? Yes, as Master said. I have not personally spring swapped anything, but I know others who have. Yes, exactly. And a couple coworkers of mine as well. Spring swap very often. We'll check something here. Okay. schmutz on there. It is considerably far easier. Yeah, I have seen it done. And I've also disassembled switches before, so I know that it's... And I've done a little bit of switch looping. I haven't swapped them, but yeah, it's not bad. I would recommend lubing the new springs if you do it, but you can buy GO oil if I would just dump it in a bag tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I did. Just in a big bag lube, put it in there, shake it up. Okay, so I believe these ones were still pretty good. This one I did want to touch up, and I also need to move the placement of this. So let's get ourselves out the screws. These are just a little Phillips on this one. Okay. Let's get a little paper towel zone here. Okay. So the other wire is, I think, in my little box of stab secrets. Bunch of hardware. And one of these is a 7U. Let's see if it will play ball. Let's do some housing touch-up here. Okay. two into this. I think I need two. There's a little bit of perforation in the PE foam to open up spots for stabilizers. So we'll go ahead and do that for the 7U spots. Okay. Okay, appear to be functioning as expected. We'll give this a quick test here, but before we get too far. The glorious Signature Plastics packaging that we know and love. Give this spacebar a quick test run. Never gets old. Nice. Let's test this out. Get some foam down. Things lining up okay. Have to use this socket since we're flipped around. So funny that it sticks to the plastic so much. Yeah, in the blister pack. a tiny bit of ticking over here. Maybe that'll even out. It feels pretty good though, so maybe we can just tune it with a syringe after the fact, but could also be some flexibility stuff going on since it's not fully together. So let's do that first, but it feels pretty good with the replacement wire. These lovely little, if it'll focus. Hello. Whoop. Nope, everything on the desk is way too interesting. Little sparkle buds. Too far. They do sparkle. Prevail Nebulas. They are much more snug than HMX though. Hello, Elquan. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think this will be a nice pairing with the, well, it's hard to see there, but the, with our purple mods and legends and all that good stuff. It just feels nice to have this little sparkly nebula, right? Baja Blast Nights. Can't wait to get yours. Oh, awesome. Yeah, mine just came in today, actually. Which was perfect timing. Because I didn't fully have a plan for today's stream. And then they kind of presented themselves and I figured out what I wanted to do. Let's see. All right, now we'll do some fill in here. They are really grabbing onto the PC plate. Hello. What's your plan? What do you plan to put Baja on, Elquan? What's your plan? Mine will probably make my way onto the DNWorks 7 eventually, because it's also kind of a tealish color. I think that'll be nice. But those just went on to the boat, I think. Oh, with the Kipseli Mini? Or the Kipseli TKL, yeah. Not the Mini. Like we're bowing out a bit here, but shouldn't be a problem, especially after the case compression. PCB is a little warped. Indeed. Not something I noticed before, but it could be because of the switches are grabbing onto it a little bit more than everything is a little more bent than I remember it being last time I built this. Time for a heat gun. Last time I got a warp PCB, it was actually one I got from Novel Keys and was talking to support about it. And they were talking about just bending it slightly the opposite way for a little bit. Just kind of holding it. And it did work, actually. That was on a 60% PCB. But, I mean, this is going to be... I'd honestly have it... It's bending like concave or convex, which I would actually prefer to it being warped the other way. Be scared to use a heat gun on a PCB? Yeah. Oh, is this the end of the mix, Masters? I think it is. Or the end of the... That's how much machine. There, a little switch to something else now. Let's see, boop, and let's do. There we go. And we'll do something completely different. Variety is the spice of life. So true. Try to keep my listening habits a little more varied and open. Sometimes you gotta throw a harsh noise track in the middle of another one in a normal mix. And you did. Sometimes you just gotta. All right. That is one of the more warped that I've seen. If that is Coming across. Whoop, I gotta angle it. Holy, right? Look at that. That is considerably more warped than it was before. Let's see how it does. Because maybe once it's actually in here and being compressed. Yeah, but that is the most warpy that I've seen. I definitely need some milk. This PCB has scoliosis. I'm sure it'll be fine, but at least you know what's up with sounds. Yeah, exactly. And if it's really bad, we'll try a different... maybe we might need to, like, take out all the switches and reinsert from, like, the middle out or something. Let's see if that can help mitigate. Oop, come on now. Another reason, I mean, granted, I've helped it out with the plugs a little bit, but another reason why I don't like PCBs with flex cuts is that it's more easier for this kind of shit to happen. I feel like when the structure is already compromised. All right. Do a little. Actually, let me make sure that that bottom foam isn't sticking out too much on the side there. Hopefully. All right, let's get some stuff on here and see. Might need to change that back out again on the spacebar. Not quite poppy enough, but we'll get the rest of this in play and then see. So there's functions. I think I will do the arrow keys over there. It is a flex cut. It's got some like silicon plug strips that came with it that go in there, but it's still like I mentioned, it's already been structurally compromised, I guess, in that way because it has a flex cut. So I'm not super surprised that it is bending a lot more than it ever has before, but still. I'm not as concerned about it because it has the flex cuts in it. Be right back. All right. See you soon. Let's see. Put do a brighter escape. So D. Yeah, I do like those. These two together is fun. 3. Oops. Oh, so 9, 0, minus plus. I think H is one of these that I'll use the arrow for. Let's see, brackets and quote. M colon. Let's see, what alternates do we have? Any? I don't think so. Nice. And then the arrow 4 will go here from this pack. Ah! DCS caps are so light, they just fly away. About to loot the rest of your MX oranges. Well, Godspeed. How many more do you have left to go? And then... And we'll do a different B as well. $36. Okay. V I, not this J. Packaging cruft on there. Nice. Got that marble. B. Baja. Is this whole thing double shot? I think it is. Nice. Our little Baja key. Function. Got our stepped caps. But I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. I don't think there's no LED here because it uses the LED over here, so we don't need the Windows caps lock. Though I'm not as familiar with UV print on DCS, so I actually might do a little quick comparison here. Shift, got a couple of blanks here. We got our arrow keys. Control, backspace. Enter. Itty bitty delete. Full backspace, don't need that. Do want tab. Double enter. There's L. Third left shift. Don't need big shift. Thought I hit a stroke of genius today. Just found out about the GMK Monodolch group buy that's running for the new Jane. I was going to try and buy the novelties to use with Dolch Row 5, but the mods are text icon. Oh, that sucks. I still do not own a Dolch of any kind. I know it's a classic, but it honestly has not appealed to me a ton. Or like, I guess I shouldn't say that. It's not been like something like, oh, I have to have that. Oh, that's pretty good. I can definitely see, so I'm just comparing the traditional double shot Legend here with Signature Plastics UV print on the windowed caps lock. You can definitely tell, you know, when you actually get the light on it, because it is the shine with a separate layer on top. But honestly, it's pretty dang crisp. I'm not as familiar with their UV printing game over at Signature Plastics too. Got a Fear Bowl 60XT. I think it's going to look real good. Oh yeah, no doubt. It is a classic for a reason. It's just not one that I've needed to get my mitts on. And I know there's always going to be another run of a Dolch, so it's not like... I don't feel like I'm going to miss out if I decide that I really need something in my collection. We'll do that last. There's the blank window. I actually think we need to spice this up a little bit. That is why I jumped on Rafa, because there's not been another run of Dolch from the time I got to the hobby too. Oh, okay. That's something there 3 at once. Yeah. So maybe I've like got a wrong idea of it, but I just feel like I've seen so many takes on Dolch, and there's also been modern Dolch and all this other stuff too. So I feel like there's a lot of Dolch and Dolch adjacent things, and maybe that's where it kind of all gets conflated in my head. But let's see. Let's do. Let's do this. Streamboo.com, really? I'm honored that you would be here. Be gone. They want your ass so bad. Well, they're looking at the stream and they're like, three viewers, really? You should use Streamboo. Maybe I like it to be smaller. Did you ever think about that, Streamboo? No. Let's see. All right, so we will want what? Insert, home, Page up. And page down. And end. Delete. Interesting sound. I think I will like it. We'll see. You can definitely hear some ticking there. We'll see. The switches may be thematically appropriate, but we'll see how I feel about the sound. Or some of that may also be the keycaps. Streets are saying all the best viewers there. Well, who am I to disagree with the streets? All right, let me pause this for a sec. Spring swapping cherry switches is so fun because you just get to throw the stock spring straight to the garbage can. Yeah. I'm not loving the bottom row. I don't know, there's something about this that feels kind of cheap to me. I don't think it's the keycaps, because of how I got in DCS to sound. But I haven't used these switches in a very long time. There's the yeah, there's something going on here. It may be the warping. No, it's not just the mic. I thought that these nebulas might be a good fit for this, but I'm thinking we might do another little switcheroo here and try for something else, honestly. A very subtle, silly noise. Just a silly noise. Yeah, it's like there's something going on in there that I'm not a big fan of. So I'm going to do an experiment. I think... Man, that warping is wild. I think that the nebulas may not be it. But I had an idea as a backup with some different purples that we might use. The trick will just be getting the nebulas out of here because they are tenacious little buggers. I hadn't used these switches in a while, and maybe this was part of the reason. It could also be that I just don't, there's a combination of plate and PE things going on as well. If you're going to full swap, maybe you can try and bend the PC a bit while it's empty. Maybe, and it may not. When I had disassembled this earlier, that was not a problem. So I'm guessing it is the switches that are doing it. but we'll double check. I think that the switches perhaps are pulling it in such a fashion. We'll see. I have seen it happen before, but we shall double check. But I'm guessing these are going to be a little bit of a bear to get out. Let me get these back in. I thought you meant when you built it the first time. No, when I rebuilt this not that long ago. A couple months ago probably was the last time I rebuilt it. So we'll see. I might use some Silly Works switches that I've got. Or I've also got some Boba LTs that are a nice purple as well. That maybe we'll take a look at. So let me actually update something. Whoops. Gotta get some more Nixies so I can try dyeing them. Oh, that'd be beautiful. You know, it'd be really cool would be if you could get, like, do kind of an amber dye, like the Cloud9. Oh, man. Get some piss switches in there. Love how dyed Nixies look, yeah. I'll tell you what, since you've talked about how much you love Nixies and you want to get me like Nixies, can I commission you to mod and dye some Nixies for me? And I'll see if I like them more than the other ones I've tried. Mod, absolutely. No dyeing? Okay. That's fair. That's totally fair. I would feel the same about needing to prep and do some tests before actually doing it for anybody. It's the same reason why, it's like eventually I'm planning on like opening up some commission building. But to make that more fully viable, I'm going to learn to solder, as we've talked about, and I definitely am going to do solder testing and get some experience under my belt before I make somebody pay me to do it. So, I get it. I get it. Let me edit this command. There we go. I had the same thing. I also thought there's no way I can only commission hot swaps. Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit. I mean, thankfully, like, the first one I'm doing for Frederick is hot swap, which is good. But, like, yeah, I feel like it's a little bit... Because, like, one of the reasons that people would probably get something commissioned is because they don't want to solder and mess with it. And so it's, like, kind of needs to be there. I feel like. I mean, that's why I'm going to have app build my DN works after all. Whew. We'll find a better home for these switches. Can't wait for the derivatives. It's gonna be good. Did you get in on the speaking of DN work stuff? Did you get in on the Senna? I did not. too spency, yeah. I agreed. It was a triple threat for me, or a triple issue, because it was like too expensive, win keyless only, and solder only. Yeah, it was beautiful. I love that. Like the yellow and teal combo, especially. The anti-Geronus board. It's true. It's like all the things that can repel me immediately. Which is a shame because yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful and a beautiful yellow, which you don't see done or done well super often. I've just bought 3 different $400 TKLs this year alone. I need to chill. Yeah, maybe. Although I'm not one to judge someone else's fiscal responsibility and what that looks like. I know for me that would definitely be a bit of pushing it. All right. So not the one for this board. Oh yeah. Look at this now. Oop. It's a little bit of curve. But yeah, those switches were yanking this thing around. They were just so tight in there. So it might have been the pattern I put them in, which the angled pattern is meant to mitigate some of that, but it was just so tight. So that was definitely causing some issues. So let's do something, let's do some switches that have a little bit more chill. Lots of choice words flying around right now. Oh, jeez. So let's see. If I want to keep it purpley, I do have some silly works, some hyacinths in the June that I could steal. How much time do we have? About a half hour. So maybe instead, let me look at the Bobas and what are their stats. 68? What? Is that for real? I don't feel like they have felt like that to me before. Linear Thok. Well, this is a different version of the Boba LTs than I have. This has a transparent top. Huh? I think they're probably closer to 65 than 68. I'm putting 68 gram, 22 millimeter springs in these oranges. I'm kind of scared. You're going to wear out those fingies. I guess they're 65. So you get the 65. Oh, there is a 65 with the RGB top. That's what I'm looking at. Okay. So yeah, these are actually not 68s. I don't know why I had that in here as 68s. Remedy that. Let's take a look at them. I think I got them over here. They got a nice dark purple stem. It kind of goes. Actually, that's pretty damn close. There's a little bit more red in the purple on the stem. But this is not going to show up. But it's kind of nice. Now they go in much more smoothly. They're not like holding on for dear life, like the legs on the Nebulas do. All right, let's give this a go. Just a quick little switcheroo. They got these from Kerbal's Keys years ago. These are all hand lubed, which is quite nice. I hadn't found something I really wanted to use them in. So we'll see how they sound for today. You like it? Well, that's all the approval I need. Let's see, I'll leave that one there. Skip over here. And maybe before we get too far, we'll double check the PCB warp. Make sure things aren't being too outlandish. I assume you'll be in this week, Frederick, at the space. I will be there probably Thursday, Friday. I wondered if I could grab some of the components from you that you've gathered so far for your board. Oh, this one's got a bent pin. Sweet. If you're up for it, or you're happy with the choices you've made so far. That one is real. I'll have to straighten that out another time. Won't be in on Friday? Okay. Well, I'll be there Thursday, though. Think you want other switches? Okay. This one's got a bent pin, too. There we go. Can't wait for the Petrichor stream. Jeez, this is a bent pin too. What is with these pins? Yes, I think it'll be a good time. That one will definitely take a little longer to build with the size of it and the stabs will have to lube and everything, but why is it always the top left pin on these too? I set those aside. What did I do to these switches before? These used to live in the June at one point. And somehow all of them got the same pin bent on all of them. Another one. Actually, let me double check that I didn't just bend this one. Nope, good. Kind of went in a little bit funny. Maybe it's just some kind of extra soft metal or something. I don't know what changed. I just got the touch now. Oh, I see. I missed the previous one. I used to bend pins like that every time I built a board. Haven't done it in forever. Yeah, so maybe like that's from the last time where I like it's like I swear every third one. Weird. I'm definitely more careful than I used to be with my switches, but Strange, strange. You would have known, though, the keys wouldn't have worked. Yeah, for sure. This one has like a weird little bent curl at the end, too. This is why I got in the habit of buying 90 switches at a go, because I was like, I'm going to destroy these switches. Just now noticed the keycaps I'm using, I now have scooped F and J with the bar? Are ePBT keycaps all like that? I don't know. I don't know that I've used ePBT, at least not in a long time. Well, hold on. I don't know that I've ever used an ePBT keycap set. Huh. I don't know how I've not noticed in all these years. That's a very strange thing to do, I feel like. Kind of defeats the purpose. So is the alternative just like a normal depth with bars? Or best of both worlds? We've taken the technology of scoops and bars and combined them into one bold and daring keycap shape. I don't know who this character was. Scooped bar. Hey, has Scoop designed a keycap set? Is this what these are? The namesake? Oh, less but better. Okay. The OG run. Used my test 65 to play Valorant on Sunday. I just haven't swapped it out. Admittedly, don't show this board love too often. Those are all bent up too. Wild. I might have just started figuring out some PC stuff because depending on the price point, that new Valve hardware is looking pretty tasty to me. I like the cut of their jib. And I like the Steam controllers coming back. You want it so bad? I saw that, I mean, it made sense that, like, the next day or whatever it was, D-Brand already put out, like, not an interest check, but essentially, like, yeah, we're making a shell that looks like a companion cube from Portal. Do you want to sign up for notifications? I was like, yeah! It's just, like, so smart. Yes, the Gabe cube, exactly. It's just so smart. I mean, especially for them to control the internals, because I know they like partnered with the third-party people to try to do the Steam Machine before. The e-ink, yeah, the display with like the internal info and all that kind of stuff, which they had for like their test units, right? But they're like, yeah, we're not going to sell this in this configuration. But it was like so cool. It's fucking sick. You're absolutely right. Yeah, this is great. There's like a little bit of curve, but like not out of normal expectations. Bonkers. All right. Let's see if that redeems anything here. That's what, never mind. You're dirty. Come on. Much better curve, Zowie. Zowie. This is a family-friendly stream. Damn it. Oh yeah, that's already like miles better. Not just in sound. I mean like the sound of it, but the feel too. Alright. So now we know about... Maybe this is why Prevail went out of business. No, not. Alright. Let's get back to it. Yeah, that's nice with the purples together. I like that actually a lot. Should have done this the first time. AS. These blanks. SDF, GHJ, ERT. There's some interesting, which I hadn't noticed as much on the other DCS sets I have. There's a small textural difference. I don't know if this will show up much at all. Between, say, like, whoop, let me angle the light. You can see a little bit there between the shift and the tab, for example. The texture is a little bit different with the mold that they use. I feel like the backspace is the same as well. Which makes sense because they're the same size key on the same row. But it's like a little bit more matte. Like the texture, the way the texture bounces and diffuses the light is slightly different. I guess that's one of the fun little quirky imperfection bits about DCS. There's also like a slight imperfection in the middle of the space bars I've found, which must be in the mold. Because I noticed that the same way with DCS Intro Beige. But it's kind of fun that way. Especially if you are like expecting it and know that that's part of DCS. F R where did number 1 go? Oh, there it is. It's got lost in the shuffle. Okay, okay. Let's try this again, shall we? A little bit of case interference, actually. That's interesting. It does actually rub on the case. Maybe that is too much play in the stabilizer. Might need to investigate that. Oh, yeah, I don't know if that sound comes across at all. Let me see. Where it is actually rubbing on the case. That's not something I've encountered before with DCS. What if we flip it? Well, that is nuts. I'm not much of a flip spacebar guy, but at least for now we'll do that. Sounded kind of like that nylon scratchy noise. Yeah, it was actually like rubbing on the interior of the case slightly. So I'll flip it for now. I might need to check if there's too much play in the stabilizer. Actually, in the mode stabilizer, letting it come forward. Otherwise, it sounds good. But for some reason, it was like that little bit of wiggle that it has. So it could either be like a stem issue on the switch or the stabilizer, or kind of both working together. Because there is a lot of front to back play in the mode stabilizers. Can you adjust? I could. I would probably change it from being a mode stab to something with a little bit of a tighter tolerance for the stabilizer stems. Something like a night stab or something. So I'll look into that after the stream and see if that is the issue. This it's not the switch stem giving that extra play for sure. So it could be that. So we'll see. For now, we'll just keep it flipped. Some people swear by the flipped spacebar. Yeah, but for now, I'll just leave it flipped. I like it. Much more than the Nebulas. And we're getting a lot of that nice marbliness both from the PE foam and the hollow interior of DCS, since there is, because, you know, it's sort of It's sort of Signature Plastics' take on cherry. And it's made of ABS plastic, just like G&K CYL is. But the walls on DCS caps are so much thinner. I mean, it's a matter of, tenths of a millimeter or whatever, probably. But you can see it and you can feel it. Even when you're just holding one, you can feel it. And so there's extra interior space, and that also alters the sound profile versus G&K ABS. Nice. Get a better look here. That's some of the oh, that's a little bit too dark. I gotta do something with my lighting. I can't lift stuff up without it getting super dark anymore now that the time has changed. Here, we'll just zoom in a little bit. You can see how nice those legends go with the case. And then with a little bit of the purple accents here and there. It is a shame that the bottom row purples, I think, were just off by a little bit. Because it might have been fun to spice that up a little bit with some extra options. But like, as you can see, leans more in the magenta direction, or as far as like, there's more red content in this purple than this stock one. I'll take level. And also, of course, all of these have white legends as opposed to, stuff that goes with the set. But it's cool. These might have been fun to throw in as well. Some of the funky banana keys. And of course, you can't even read the legends on these. But I know there's another round of yellow voting, or voting on yellow flex kits coming, I think. And these are different. This is much more saturated than any of the legends here, but still very cool. So I'm going to do a little spacebar investigation, probably tomorrow, when I'm supposed to be on a meeting. But I can look into this a little bit. Let me zoom out slightly. Yo, Emma, hello! Welcome. We're just kind of wrapping up at the end here, actually, with a lovely Cycle7 with Baja Nights. I actually should plug it in so we can get the... I think I still have it set to... Yeah, our little purple indicator here. Here, let me turn off a light or two. Let's do the... There we go. Lupin Orange is watching another thing. I'm really good. I may be sending this keycap set to you actually, Evan, because I'm gonna try to hire you to build my DNWorks 7 when I get it, and I want to put this on it because I got like that nice teal one. I don't remember what the colorway was actually called, but it'll go really good with this. And I don't know how to solder. So I'm going to send it to a professional. But I'll try to pack it as well as Masters did, but we'll see. Oh, whoops. This is actually plugged in. I was like, what did I do to my music? There we go. semi-honored. Good luck, buddy. But I'll plug this again. Oh yeah, we need to do the back peel on this thing as well, since I still haven't taken off the protective film. But lovely. Especially our little Baja cap. I love this so much. Lovely. Now I feel like I need an emote just called lovely. Yeah, so to recap, a lovely TKD Cycle7. We ended up switching gears in the middll. I'm going with some hand-lubed Boba LTs, which are a nice 65-gram linear spring, or linear switch from Gazzew. PC plate, PE foam, some bottom foam, just with the flexible plate. Sometimes they do bottom out, so there's a little bit of extra stuff in there. Plate foam as well. Although I might end, when I go in there to investigate the spacebar, I might end up taking that plate foam out, actually, because I don't think this needs it. It did with my previous build, but just because that was a Clacky or HMX situation. But I might let these sing a little bit more without it. Mode stabs, which I need to investigate, and then, of course, DCS Baja Nights. But yeah, pleased. Need to do a little bit more checking, but generally pretty pleased with that. Use this just for now. Oop. So let's see. I need help with my kiddo here in a couple of minutes, so let's see who's out there. Is Apiary still streaming the Enzo build? She is. Cool. I've been going at it for a while, goodness sakes. 4.5 hours. All right, let's give her a raid. Thanks for being here, folks. Really appreciate it. Let's see if we can spice it up with something new next time we build. Bye-bye. Let's see. Raid. Raid. Remember how raiding works. There it is. And we'll get this ready to go. And started. Sweet. Bye, folks.